Narcissist, Seduction. Episode 14. Wynne was driving back from a meeting. It was just over 2 hours between destinations, and he had met with success once again, securing further business for the bank. He hadn't spoken to Ashleigh that morning, as Sarah had undertaken the school run. He had received an early text explaining that arrangement, and that Peter was working from home in the morning, so she couldn't speak. She was not heading to work, as she had a ladies' lunch to attend indoor, so there was little point her heading to the city first. It was Tuesday, and he had had an enjoyable weekend with his friends before facing a frantic Monday, which saw him involved in an all-day meeting. He did not see Ashleigh, instead managing to send a few texts when he popped to the bathroom. Each time he managed to escape the meeting and examine his phone, he found at least 6 messages waiting for him from Ashleigh. They were all in the vein of explaining how much she missed him, and stating that she could not wait to next kiss him. Now, as he drove back from his meeting, he thought he would surprise her and go to the country house hotel, where the lunch was taking place. She had explained it began at 12:30 with drinks, followed by lunch and then speeches, and would run all afternoon. She was attending with 3 of her friends. Apparently they did this every year, and it was charity-based. The hotel that Ashleigh was at was off the main arterial route, which cut through the county in which she lived. She and her friends had taken a taxi across to the venue. He had sent her a text message advising that he was setting off and wouldn't be able to answer her messages. She had urged him to drive carefully and thanked him for letting her know. He drove up the slip road and lowered his window, allowing the cool afternoon air to rush into his car. It was dry, and he had made good time returning from his meeting, listening to a new CD which he had purchased afterwards. He switched off the music as he reached the roundabout and waited until he could access it. He smiled as he thought of the look on her face when she saw him. Earlier, she had complained, albeit in a pleasant manner, that this would be a 4th day without seeing him, and that it felt far too long for her. Wynne rounded towards the irrelevant exit, and he could see the hotel set on a slight rise in the distance. He powered forward and onto a dual carriageway, following it for a short distance before turning off onto the driveway of the hotel. He reached the car park. It was quite full. Evidently the lunch had attracted a number of attendees. He managed to find a place on the front row of cars facing the entrance to the hotel, which was elevated up a couple of flights of steps from the car park. Wynne picked up his phone from the passenger seat and typed in a message. "Hi, how's it going? Kiss, kiss, kiss." He waited for a response, watching as 2 smartly dressed women walked outside the hotel and lit their cigarettes. "All good. Have you got back yet?" Kiss, kiss, kiss. "Come outside the hotel." "What?" "Just come outside." "Okay. What are you up to?" He did not answer, and there was no further message from Ashleigh. He assumed she would come from the main entrance, although he suspected the banqueting suite in which the lunch had taken place was likely to have its own separate entrance. He hoped she was not stood there puzzled as to what he was doing. She emerged from the entrance and walked down 1 flight of steps past the smoking ladies. She wore tight pants and an elegant top as she peered around. She halted at the top of the next steps of steps and continued to look around. He could see confusion cloud her face. Wynne opened his door and stepped out onto the car park. He waited as she scanned the view in front of her, and then she spotted him. Immediately, her face erupted in a huge smile, and she bounded down the steps, crossing the narrow road that ran in front of the hotel, and slipped across the foliage, separating the car park from the road. She stopped in front of him, still smiling. "I love you," she said, delighted to see him. I love you too, he replied. Her eyes widened at his declaration as she reached out a hand, but then stopped herself. She seemed to be fizzing, unable to keep still, but restrained herself from embracing him. "Fuck's sake," she cursed. "You tell me that and I can't even kiss you. I might be seen." "That's all right. They know Peter, you see. It's fine. I just thought I would make an effort to see you, since you said it was too long since you'd last seen me." She tilted her head, giving a look that said, "Ah, I so want to kiss you, you gorgeous man." "The feeling is mutual," he answered, pleased to see her so happy at his appearance. "I was getting bored, and this has cheered me up completely. You always know what to do, don't you?" "Looks that way," said Wynne with a shrug. She looked at her wristwatch and then back at him. "What are you doing now? I wish we could go for a drink inside. It's a beautiful place." "Oh, I'll just head home. There's little point going to the office now." "Have you any plans this evening?" "I'm due to meet some of the old Novo Bank lot for a curry." "Why am I not invited?" she asked. "Sorry, chaps only. Besides, thought you would have had your fill of drink this afternoon." "Oh, I'm on lime and soda water now. I've only had a couple of glasses of wine. Misery Guts wouldn't like it if I turned up drunk." "Stuff that. Fill your boots," encouraged Wynne. "It's fine, really. What time's your curry?" "Oh, not until 7:30. Blackmore is travelling like me, and he won't get back until later." "Listen, we're pretty much finished here. Why don't you come over to the house?" "To your house?" Yes. It's just after, 4:30 now? Can you amuse yourself for an hour or so, and then head to mine for 6 p.m? "Well, yes, I suppose so. But what about Peter and Amelia?" "Amelia is at hockey practice. Sarah is picking her up, and she won't be back until 7:30. Peter is away from the area and won't be back until much later." "Well, if you're sure." "Oh, I'm completely sure. I want you in my house so that I can picture you there when you have gone. It will keep me sane. Please." "It's not a problem to me. I'll just go and do some shopping indoor and then head over to you." "Marvellous. It will take you 15 minutes from door. The traffic crossing the town shouldn't be too bad by the time you have to leave. I will text you the address, and you can look up the route." "Okay. I shall see you at 6. I can't wait." She turned and skipped away, heading back to the hotel, as Wynne lowered himself into the car. He was now going to enter the lion's den.